Hi, I'm Camden Burke. Welcome to Positively Caffeinated. I'm here with,
Tesh, Burke.
and today we're going to be talking about what we're thankful for, I think, in 2025 and what we're looking forward to in the coming year. So you want to?
You're saying we're going to wrap up 2025 because we're like 3 and then we're looking at what FY26 is going to bring us.
Precise.
Our bucket list, I guess you'd say. All right, let's see here. I'm going to use my phone a little bit here because
You do that. Of course,
I was writing. Oh, awesome. And that's that is a Mexican coffee. It's a light roasted. So you should get some high notes of nuttiness and maybe some sweet, like a little bit of cocoa in there. It's a medium roast, actually, not light roast. It smelled really good. Yeah, it's available. Yeah, it's available online. So, FY25, I think we kind of talked about this last time, but, we're continuing on our theme of, showing gratitude for being on the farm and just something there. But also with that is, it's been a learning experience as in coming out of 2025. Some things, when you're doing these things, for me, it's like you want to do a lot of things and then you start it and you kind of go, oh, I have to do something else before that.
Yeah.
So that's some the hesitation sometimes of getting things done as quickly as in my brain, I want to get them done and process them. That's doing things foundationally or structurally on the farm as well as the business side, because we're building a community, we're building a business, we're building a farm. So there's all this together. So I would say for me, FY25 has been kind of be patient, also showing gratitude and really, kind of processing that in my own life.
Have you heard of, just talking about that for a second?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the burnt toast theory?
The
burnt toast theory. I'm surprised because you always have your toast in the morning. So like, hi, this is like your theory. Well, basically, it's a theory that when things go wrong, they could be basically saving you from something that's worse. So the idea is, and the reason it's called burnt toast theory is the idea of you burn your toast, so you have to remake your toast. So you're late for work. And if you hadn't been late for work, then maybe there was a car accident or something on the way where you would have been hit or something else and ended up in the hospital. But because you burned your toast, you didn't have to deal with that car accident. So kind of talking about what you were saying with, how things seem like they're not going as fast as you want them to, or you're not able to get things done. It could be a case of the burnt toast theory where if you had actually been able to get that thing done, maybe it wouldn't have worked out or something would have been not level.
So maybe a cause why it happened.
If you believe in fate or
the
universe, whatever. But I just thought it was interesting.
That's interesting
theory. I thought I'd bring that up. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, good one. So in FY26, I kind of wrote some things I would like to see happen. So we've talked, I think we shared that we want to open up our own little local farm stand here on the property. So we had that built and operating. We want to finish the barn inside. As you know, we built the barn, we've built the foundation, but we don't really have all of our roasting operations here yet. So we're kind of going back and forth. In FY27, we want to get all the operations here built out because our barn will actually host both our coffee, our lavender,
and honey.
Okay.
Honey production.
And, eventually it will be used for defense and things like that. Planting 1,500 lavender plants this year. That's our goal. Yes. Beehives, what we're going to do this year.
I think so. We want to get up to 20 hives by FY27, I believe.
So we're going to expand that. And they're really about, the community we're talking to right now, expanding our social media, web, cam,
subscriptions.
So talk a little more about the subscriptions, maybe the website. What do you think, if you're ready to, what are some of the things they can look forward to in regards to FY26 around that thing?
Well, I mean, as far as the website goes and stuff, I'd like to get the wholesale partnership page, get that up and running. So those of you that have businesses and would like to partner or purchase our products or have, custom collaboration ideas, you can reach out and, contact us. Love to support you. Obviously, you can support us. So I think I'm looking forward to producing that. Also, we've got a lot of positive reviews about the coffee and the flavor and all of that, and the soap as well. But I'd like to get a subscription going for at least the coffee and maybe the soap. We are in the works. Talking about throwing some things around, some different ideas about bundles and stuff that we can produce for you guys.
So really
maybe
kind of
farmers market too.
Yeah. So then that was, so getting into the farmers market here locally. So we can have more exposure to our local community. So our two fronts is, as far as community, we look at this as in our community, the social community, and then we have our local community. So really trying to enhance as we move forward on the farm. I think that's one of the critical things. And, Camden doing the website, trying to communicate that. What are we doing? I think the other thing I was thinking about too is just sharing stories. So we'll get some, our plan is to get some other folks on this webcast to visit us or get on here and talk about what they're doing. And then also filming some more things we're doing on the farm as well. Probably the barn build out is an example, things we plan to do and share with all of you.
Maybe different kinds of videos too, like maybe we'll have like a less not so much this format, but maybe we do a video on how we do the framing of the barn or how we're planting lavender. So more like a tutorial video or a different format. Maybe we'll have in the coming do some,
because we want to bring you want to bring it along with us too, right? And we're along with us and just kind of experience it. Because many of you have shared, your own aspirations about, either doing your own business or your own, buying a piece of property and doing something with it. So we can definitely partner with you as far as, sharing stories and making sure there's a forum where people share, their own experiences. And a little surprise, I can't tell you too much about it right this second, but there may be maybe a book or something coming out in FY26. I'm going to say too much about it, but there may be something coming out there. So that's kind of my overall strategy, I guess you would call it, because my 40-some years of business, I think of strategy, I think of planning. What do you think about?
Well, I mean, I think we touched on a lot of stuff that we're going to do in 2026. Well, okay, I do actually have one more thing I want to say about that. I'm looking forward to, I think the most is planting the lavender fields because, how many plants is it? 1,000?
1,500.
1,500 plants. I think that's going to look amazing and finally get that hillside, covered in lavender.
Big goal is what, 4,000 or 5,000?
4,000 or 5,000, yeah. So commercial level lavender production.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, putting in kind of manicuring the land a little bit and doing some, getting the, I think I'm looking forward to having a gate and an entryway set up there. So when you guys come in, you'll be able to tell it is Lavender Hill Springs on the sign and everything. I think that's going to be awesome. Definitely looking forward to that. But I did want to, obviously we have a lot of positive change in what's happening in 2026, but I think it's also important to look back. And you kind of did touch on 2025 a little bit, but, looking in the rearview mirror about, there's been a lot of big changes, I think, here on the farm, but also just across the country, personal lives and just like everything. And I think, for me, personally, there's been a lot of changes. Obviously, us coming out to the property, and we kind of talked about that in the first few episodes of adjusting to farm life and all of that, but also career changes and basically just anything you can think of.
Going to a small town, from be a thing with everyone watches it. It's about reality, right? So that's been difficult. You're 24 years old, meeting people,
definitely.
social networking. It's a different in a small town. Not that it's undoable, but clearly there's less channels for you to engage with other people your own age and so forth. Especially when you're out on 15 acres. It's
beautiful as it is.
You can get solitude, right? Or is that the right word? And get caught up in that and projects and doing the South thing. So those are some of the things I think that you're kind of
Yeah. I just want to touch on I think when you look at those big changes, sometimes it can be or when there's big sudden changes in life, I feel like there's, the tendency to look at it, especially when it's not planned or it's like abrupt or whatever, as a end of something or an end of, a chapter in life. But I think there's also the other aspect of, or the other way of looking at it as kind of a redirection or as a transformation into something new. And I think, that's a lot of, obviously that's been on my mind. I think even with the products that we produce, like, Bad Bean Soap, I think that's kind of how that came about, was that mindset of, transformation and, reusing the old and
Right. Really trying to
give
be conscious of, I think we even trying to be conscious of. Yes, you can create product. We kind of talk about it, but we create products, but is a product worth putting your name behind over
Yes.
time and energy like that? That's good because it is the end of one chapter going into another chapter, and you have two choices. A lot of us, right? So you can dwell on what was or what is, which is human nature sometimes.
It's sort of like a little bit,
like the grass is greener on the other side. All of the quotes that people say, but then the other side of that is the individual side. And I think that's what excites us. At least for me, it excites me. It's like I see on the farm, for example, Lola, my wife, and we talk about this. I can see the lavender field. I can see, the beehives and the flowers and so forth. Is it there yet? No, but that's what I picture in my brain. So to see that is exciting for me. To get there, that's, time and energy and money and all the things that go with that. But that is, I think, the fruits of your efforts if you kind of do that. Do you agree, or is it something different for you?
Yeah, no, I think that's
Producer, get to some of the things you're talking about.
No, I think it's important to have, going into 2026 and going into any year, really, it's important to have that vision and kind of, get excited about the potential of, because the world is so big and there's so many things you can do. I mean, you could reinvent yourself a million times over in this life, so I think, even though it can seem like, the end, or like, you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, there's so much, if you take a, an aerial view of everything and kind of get out of that, headspace just for a second and, see all the things that you can accomplish in the future and like different avenues and stuff that are open to you. I think that is very, very important to give yourself that moment to kind of see it from a different perspective and step out of that.
So you're really saying, take taking a breath of breathing in and value and appreciate what you do have, and then kind of exhaling and saying, what is impossible? And I think that's a great thing to bring up because we're all humans, right? So I don't get too bogged down into detail, but I think it is very easy for anybody to realize that, I'm not in the right spot. I'm not, competing with someone else or whatever it may be, to get caught up in that headspace. And then you're spending your time, in a negative area. So I would, negative loop. That's, another loop that really isn't uplifting you and doesn't make you feel good. And just so you know, we're speaking freely here because we want this channel to be about authenticity and feeling connected to our own, inner selves and so forth. So we just really appreciate, I think, the opportunity to be on the farm and doing what we're doing, but more importantly, to develop a channel that is true to ourselves.
Uplifts the human spirit.
Yeah. Yes. So that's why we're sharing these things, because otherwise, you see watching YouTube videos where they say, what really is on a small farm? What does that?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, it's true, because not everything's roses and sunshine, but we are greatly appreciative of being able to share our story. And as we go along this journey with all of you, we greatly appreciate you and investing in first line of products, listening to us and sharing your thoughts and ideas. We would greatly appreciate, again, subscribing to our podcast. Subscribe, like, what's the things I always say? Subscribe, like, and share with others. Share with others. Because we do want to grow our community, our website community. So anything to do is there, anything advice. Like I said, we'll be continuing to improve on inviting other people. So it's not just our two voices, and see what they're doing, sharing more stories about the farm, what we're doing here. But we greatly appreciate, the time that you're taking to listen to us as well. Be good, be prosperous as we go into FY26, and thanks again for listening.
Thanks, guys.